Good morning. Morning. You noticed that didn't come out very enthusiastically, and I did that on purpose. It would be out of place. I have been up virtually all night with this subject, and I don't want to dress it in cheerfulness. Power is not a topic. Power is your life. And when we trifle with words about life, we miss the life. So forgive me if the greeting is subdued. I mean to place a weight on this, because there is no subject more important than what we are about to say now. Here is the contradiction, and I want you to hear it without softening. The moment you begin to seek power as something to get, you have declared yourself powerless. The very reaching is your confession of separation. The thought, I must get power, splits you into two. I, over here, and power somewhere else. Perhaps in money, perhaps in influence, perhaps in a method, perhaps in a divine being far off. And in that split, you have already denied the only power that could ever be present, the power of your own being. I mean exactly that. Now, if you can take that into you for even half a minute, you will see why I say there is no more urgent learning. Every fear you have ever known, every form of lack, disease, dependence, humiliation, each has been a power question. Who holds it? Where is it? Have I got it, or have I lost it? Am I at the mercy of conditions, or do I stand as something that conditions must answer to? Your life, your health, your supply, your safety, these are all at root your definition of power. And if that definition pictures power outside and above you, you will spend your years as an effect among effects, trying to collect enough tokens to feel safe for a day. The intellect. Now, let me warn you here. The intellect will immediately ask for a technique. All right then, how do I acquire this inner power? Give me steps. Give me an affirmation. Give me a schedule. Trying to grasp this with the intellect makes it an impossibility. That faculty deals in objects, things to get, ideas to store, words to arrange. What we are speaking of must be realized, not assembled. It must be recognized as identity, not adopted as philosophy. You will not get it by thinking harder. You will only make it harder. So, what are we to do with this hour? We are going to reverse the whole structure you have lived under. You have been living as effect, seeking cause, praying for power to come, bargaining with life to grant it, fearing men and markets and microbes that claim to withhold it. We are going to turn that right side up. We are going to let cause recognize itself as you. Not the human you that pleads, the you before the plea. If you will sit with me in that intention, set aside for a little while your cleverness and your panic. I know them both well. We can let a single principle break through. Make some, provision for studying it afterward. Write it, carry it, live with it. But just now, let it meet you. The very search that says, I must get power, is the veil. The recognition that says, simply, I am, is the opening. And from there, everything else will take its proper place. Now here's the ground we must stand on, or nothing else will stand. The secret of life lies in right identification. All of the error, all of the sin, disease, death, lack and limitation we parade as fate, there is only one root, one ignorance behind it. Ignorance of who and what you are. I am not speaking poetically. I mean it precisely. If you misidentify yourself, you misinterpret every event. You misuse every faculty. And you live as a beggar at a banquet that is your own. Either you are an effect in a world of competing causes, or you are cause, expressing as the life you call me. There is no halfway house. You cannot be cause before breakfast and effect by afternoon. You cannot be an heir of the infinite on Sundays and a pawn of circumstances on Mondays. It is one or the other. If you take yourself to be effect, then you will take your orders from weather, from headlines, from balances and bodies and bosses, from the hour and the season and the rumor. You will try to manage causes outside you. You will attempt to push and pull effects into your corner, and you will call that prudence or ambition or survival. But it is slavery. If you awaken to yourself as cause, as the very principle out of which form and function appear, then all those same scenes are reclassified. They become effects of your state, not masters of it. They become the changing pictures on a screen that cannot dictate to the light. Now look at how misidentification hides in our common speech. I need. I hope. I'm trying. I can't. Each of those sentences, gently spoken as they often are, quietly places power somewhere else. I need, which says, supply is out there and I am in here waiting. I hope, which admits I stand under a force I do not know and must flatter. I'm trying, which confesses that I am an effort among efforts, wrestling for a prize that is not mine. I can't, which finalizes the abdication and installs a world of causes to rule me. Do you not see? This is not about being positive or using nicer words. This is about identification. As long as your language springs from effect consciousness, your days will obey the very premise your words keep setting. You cannot get power. You cannot get strength. You cannot get dominion. You must be it. Because being is the only place power exists. Power is never in the object, never in the condition, never in the person you believe can hand you your life. Power is in identity. When identity is cause, power is native, effortless, quiet, present. When identity is effect, power is distant, noisy, feared, chased, and, if caught, lost again. This is not arrogance. It is the end of arrogance. It is not the human saying, "Look how mighty I am." It is the human concept dissolving, while cause stands revealed as the I that lives you. And when that line moves in you from theory to truth, your questions change. You cease asking, "How do I get power?" And you begin asking, "What am I, really, that I ever believed power could be outside me?" Write that down. Put it on the mirror. Carry it in the purse. I do not know how you could spend less than a year with that one sentence and hope to exhaust it. Who am I? What am I? Cause or effect? The decision lies with you, and your world will tell you which you have chosen. Now we must face the question no religion, no philosophy can answer for you until you are inside the answer. What is God? What is power? And if you answer without including yourself, you have answered nothing that can save you. You have painted a picture on the wall and then bowed to it, hoping the paint will come alive and feed you. It will not. If God is left as an object in your sky, then power remains a rumor, and you remain a supplicant at a locked door. You may say, God is life. True. God is love. True. God is law, intelligence, principle, presence. All these statements shine like fine words, and yet if you keep them out there, somewhere, Do you not see you have left out the only point of contact? Who touches that life? Who recognizes that love? Who embodies that law? If the answer does not include you, the truth cannot become flesh. It remains theory. It remains a sermon in a book and not bread on your table. There is only one answer that collapses the distance and ends the superstition of separation. I am. I am is the name, the nature, the immediate selfhood of God as presence. Not the personal ego, I must guard you there. Not John, not Mary, not the bundle of habits that signs your checks. I am is the awareness that says I before it says a single other word about itself. Before I am a mother, before I am tired, before I am successful or afraid, there is simply I am. That is the door. That is the life. That is the power. Listen to the cadence already given. I and the Father are one. Before Abraham was, I am. I am the way, the truth, the life. Do you hear it? This is not a person borrowing a power. This is power speaking its own name as identity. When you let those words shift from quotation to self-recognition, not the little self, but the self that is aware, then power ceases to be a gift handed to a separated creature and becomes the nature of your being expressed. I mean exactly this. Power becomes real only in identity. If you keep pleading to an elsewhere, you certify distance and live by distance. If you silently acknowledge, I am, as life, as love, as law, as intelligence, then effects must take their order from cause. Not by force, not by personal manipulation, but by the quiet authority of being what you are. So the way forward will not be acquiring, it will be abiding. Not adding truths to your shelf, standing in truth as yourself. Let I am be the root of every thought, the atmosphere of every act. And when the old habit rises to pray to a far-off giver, pause and return. I am. Stand there. Live there. From there, everything necessary will follow. Now comes the most predictable resistance, and I want to meet it before it begins to run you. Your mind is already asking, all right, how? Give me the method. Give me the affirmation, the schedule, the 7 steps. Tell me what to do so that I can get this power. Do you not hear the flaw? You want a technique to get what cannot be gotten, only realized. The very request for steps keeps the seeker and sought split intact. I, here, lacking. Power, there, to be obtained. And every time you take that road, you strengthen the dream of distance and call it spirituality. Understand the domain difference. The intellect is a wonderful servant in its own field. It can accumulate information. It can compare, analyze, memorize, quote. It can arrange your calendar and fix your sink. But identity is not in that domain. Who you are cannot be amassed in the head or won by argument. Trying to understand it with the intellect makes it an absolute impossibility. Identity is realized by consciousness. It is a light going on, not a syllogism concluding. It is recognition, not addition. So what is our method? We do not add, we abide. We do not climb, we consent. We take one sentence and let it descend from thought into being until it alters the very sense of I. Write it out, plain, uncompromising. I cannot get power. I must be power. Put it up on the mirror. Slip a copy into the purse or the pocketbook. Tape it on the dashboard. And then Do not treat it like a slogan. Live with it. I do not know how you could spend less than a year on that one sentence and hope to exhaust its work in you. Less than a year, and you will merely have admired the words. What does study mean here? Not reading more. Not collecting more dazzling phrases. Study means allowing that sentence to interrogate you until it dislodges the old concept of yourself. You sit with it in the morning, and you let it show you each quiet place you still believe you can get your life. From people, from money, from reputation, from rituals. You hold it at noon when fear tugs, and you notice how quickly the mind runs to bargaining and defense. You return at night and watch the day replay itself. Where did I locate power in conditions? And where did I rest as cause? This is not self-criticism. It is self-revelation. You are not being scolded. You are being seen. Close your eyes for a moment. Not to dream, but to notice. Without reaching for a thought, become aware of the awareness that is hearing these words. Before a single idea arises about yourself, there is the simple fact, I am. That is not an argument. That is consciousness knowing itself. Now, open your eyes. The study is to let that fact saturate the places where habit screams for method. The study is to watch the reflex to get and to answer it with being. And I must warn you kindly and firmly, this will feel like a small death. The old concept dies hard. It wants its techniques because techniques promise control. But we are not moving into control. We are moving into authority, the quiet authority of being what is true. When that settles, you will find the intellect serving beautifully in its proper place, but no longer seated on the throne it was never meant to occupy. We will make this practical. We will take it into oranges and dollar bills and bodies, because the way you handle supply, health, and circumstance will reveal exactly where you have been placing power. If the sentence has begun to work in you, you will see those domains differently. If not, they will expose the very points where you are still trying to get what you already are. Take an orange tree. Stand there with it a moment. The sunlight is warm, the leaves are fragrant, and the branches are heavy with bright fruit. Now listen carefully. The oranges do not constitute supply. The tree constitutes supply. The fruit is only the evidence. I mean exactly that. Strip every orange from the branches, haul them all away, and the supply remains. For the life is in the root, in the sap, in the principle by which treehood becomes visible. Cut the root, disturb the life, and you may hang 1,000 artificial oranges on the limbs and call the neighbors to admire. You will still have no supply. Do you not see? The supply is the life force, and the orange is but the fruitage. Now take this out of the orchard and place it inside your own being. Money, opportunity, recognition, energy. These are oranges. They are fruit. They are the visible evidence that an invisible principle is operating as you. Power is not the orange. Power is the life principle, the inner cause, the I am that knows itself and, by knowing, pours itself out as form. The moment you chase fruit, you confess that fruit makes trees. It does not. The moment you run after effects, you have already denied cause, and then, having denied cause, you must live as a manager of appearances, polishing baskets, counting pieces, fretting over seasons, while the root you are ignores your busy hands and simply waits to be recognized. This is why your "how do I get more" has worn you thin. It is the wrong question. It accepts the lie that oranges produce trees. It keeps you living on the surface, hurrying from branch to branch, looking for what cannot grow there. The question becomes, what am I being? Am I abiding as cause? Am I permitting the awareness I am to be the soil and the sun of my life? If the root is honored, the fruit appears of itself. If the root is ignored, the fruit withers while you invent new techniques for shining its skin. Translate this into your day. A bill arrives. The mind lunges for better baskets. Sell something quickly. Flatter someone. Force a door. Pause. Do not try to get supply. Be supply. Return to I am and let that single fact saturate the panic. I am the law of life acting as me. I am the principle that appears as dollar bills, as opportunity, as right timing. Then act from that poise, not passivity, authority, not postponement, presence. You will find the next step rises naturally, the way sap rises when the trunk is sound. And remember seasons. The tree does not panic itself into spring. It abides. It drinks deeply. It rests in what it is. Do that. Abide as cause, and let timing serve you instead of you serving time. As you live this way, the baskets fill and empty without frightening you. For the baskets do not constitute wealth any more than oranges constitute supply. We will speak of dollar bills directly in a moment, but I want the picture to be fixed before we touch money. Fruit is not cause. Fruit is evidence. Hold one more bridge for your heart. The same error has you chasing health, strength, youth on the branches of body. You are tempted to paste vigor onto limbs that feel weak. In a little while, we will take up that mystery and show you why the body that troubles you is largely a concept, and how, when cause is known, a better manifestation appears without your pasting anything onto it. For now, plant this firmly. Power is the inner principle that produces effects. Chasing effects is proof you have not yet recognized the source as your own being. Stand at the root. Live there. The fruit knows what to do. Thank you. Now we come to the second picture, as homely and as near to your nerves as the first. Money. Dollar bills. Bank balances. Listen with the same honesty we gave the orange tree. Dollar bills do not constitute your wealth. You constitute your wealth. I mean exactly that. Wealth is capacity, intelligence, life, substance expressing as you. The bills are fruit. They are the visible symbol of an invisible principle operating. If you make this symbol your source, fear is born the very moment you count it. Why does fear persist even when the wallet is fat? Because you have enthroned a false god. You have said, power is in these papers, these digits. And anything outside your own being must be guarded, protected, insured, hedged, hidden, watched by night. It will own your hours. It will set you to calculating and bargaining with tomorrow. It will make every headline a threat and every rumor a shiver. Because the God you chose can be stolen, burned, inflated away, taxed away, praised today, and despised tomorrow. The false God always demands protection and pays you with anxiety. Do you not see? If you kneel to an effect, you inherit the terrors of effects. Security, then, must be redefined, or you will never taste it. Security is not a number. Security is recognition, the felt fact of cause as your identity. When you stand in I am, you discover a curious calm that does not wait for the deposit to clear. From that poise, right activity unfolds. Right provision appears in forms that match the need of the hour. Sometimes it looks like a job, sometimes a client, sometimes a sale, a gift, an idea that rearranges your work so that what looked like lack reveals itself as misdirection. The forms change, as fruit does by season, but cause does not blink. And because cause is where you do not live in the roller coaster of forms. Now hear this guardrail, because I would not have you confuse irresponsibility with realization. Realization does not despise bills or ignore ledgers. It stops worshiping them as source. You will still balance accounts, still plan, still write checks, still extend value and receive value. You will do it better. Why? Because you are no longer acting from panic. You are not attempting to squeeze fruit from bare branches. You are abiding as tree, and the forms of prudence and order become expressions of wisdom rather than rituals of fear. In other words, you let the inner law inform the outer practice. That is not passivity. That is authority. Try a small, immediate exercise. Take a bill in your hand, or picture the line of numbers in your bank. Pause. Do not ask it to save you. Ask instead, what is this? See it as a token, a witness, a piece of paper testifying that life is pouring itself into visibility. Then turn within, gently but firmly. I am the wealth that appears as this. I am the source, and this is my fruitage. Let that be more than words. Let it shift where you locate power. Then act. Make the call. Price the work rightly. Release the waste. Follow the nudge. But act from cause, not from craving. Write the sentence and live with it. Dollar bills do not constitute my wealth. I constitute my wealth. Put it on the mirror. Carry it in the purse right beside the bills so you will not forget which is source and which is sign. Give it a year. Let it end the superstition that had your heart chained to arithmetic. And now, because the world will fight you hardest at the point most intimate to you, we must carry this same seeing into the arena of body, age and illness, beauty and strength, where you have been most flattered and most frightened into believing you are in effect. We will take that contradiction up next, and you will find that as cause is honored, even flesh tells a new story. Good. Now we touch the place where the world has frightened you most, and where Scripture seems to play a riddle. On the one hand, flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God. On the other hand, yet in my flesh shall I see God. And again, the Word was made flesh. God was manifest in the flesh. The intellect hears this and throws up its hands. Which is it? Is flesh unfit, or is flesh the very theater of revelation? Trying to reconcile this with the mind alone makes it an absolute impossibility. The mind is trying to weigh words while missing the principle those words point to. Take the definitional turn, and the contradiction resolves. The word flesh, in one usage, means concepts, the picture the senses bring in and the mind interprets. Age counted by calendars, strength tallied by inches and pounds, beauty graded on comparisons, health scored by symptoms. That body, the one you fear and flatter and measure, is largely a mental concept. You did not design it. You accepted it. You accepted the world's story of what it means to be body at 30, at 60, at 80. You accepted heredity and history as law. That is the flesh that cannot inherit. Concept cannot inherit reality. A photograph cannot inherit the living person. But listen again. There is another meaning at work in those same lines. The Word was made flesh. God was manifest in the flesh. Here, flesh does not mean the world's concept. It means manifestation. Form as the expression of life. Visibility as the servant of invisibility. Embodiment as God showing forth as individualized being. In that sense, yes, in my flesh shall I see God. Not because concept sees God, but because God appears as what we call body when cause is known. Do you not see? The word must be taken in its right use, or you will remain tangled in sentences and miss the living fact. Let me give you the developmental proof already written in your own story. The infant body you once inhabited, where is it? The child body, the youth, the adult, each has changed, even disappeared, yet you have remained the one who says, I. The outline shifts, the identity does not. The concept evolves, the life remains. This alone should tell you that what you call body is a moving picture of something deeper than the picture. You are not in a body. Body is embraced in you. You are not imprisoned in form. Form is an instrument in consciousness. Take the word spirit there if you like. Take the word consciousness. You are a state of consciousness, and the body appears as the concept of that state. Now hear the practice this implies. If body, as you have feared it, is a concept, then transformation is not repairing a doomed form. It is the dying of an old concept and the appearing of an improved one. Be therefore transformed by the renewing of your mind, your consciousness of identity. As consciousness is lifted from effect to cause, from I am this body with problems to I am the life by which body appears, a different manifestation shows up, quietly, without strain. Strength where there was weakness, ease where there was friction, poise where there was panic. You did not paste health onto matter. You allowed a truer idea of yourself to become flesh. Close your eyes for a moment. Gently. Notice the aware presence before you name it, male or female, young or old, tall or small. Before all those tags, simply, I am. Let that be the seat. Now let body appear within that awareness, the way a hand appears within your field of sight. It is included, not confining. It serves, it expresses, it answers to cause. Open your eyes. Hold this sentence and do not rush past it. I am not in body. Body is in me. Write it, mirror it, carry it. As that recognition settles, the old picture of flesh loses its tyranny, and an improved concept, healthier, freer, more transparent to life, comes forward of itself. This is power rightly named, not force on matter, but the authority of being, made flesh. Thank you. Close your eyes for a moment. Gently. Not to dream, not to repeat a phrase, simply to notice. Before a single thought stands up to introduce itself, there is this, aware presence. Do not reach for it. Do not hold your breath to find it. It is nearer than that. It is the very noticing by which breath is felt, by which darkness behind the eyelids is seen, by which quiet is heard. It is not an object. It is not a picture. It is not a sentence. It is the fact of being that says, without sound, I am. Now, while your eyes are still at rest, ask the only question that matters just now. Where is power located? Not philosophically, immediately. Is it in the body? This weight on the chair, this rhythm in the chest? Or is the body appearing within the awareness that knows it? Is it in the bank account, in the message you dread, in the opinion of that one person whose face keeps arriving? Or are those images and possibilities arising in the same awareness that knows them, and knowing stands free of them? Do you not see? Anything you can observe cannot be you as cause. It is effect. The seer is not the seen. The knower is not the known. The witness is not the picture. Return to the simple fact. Don't make it clever. Before I am this or I am that, there is I am. This is not a mantra to accumulate. It is a presence to be. Let the words fade and feel the quiet certainty that remains when descriptions fall away. Feel how it does not begin because you attend to it, and does not end because a thought wanders by. Feel how it is unscared by the story trying to start up again. Here is the seat. Here is cause. Here is power, not as a force you apply, but as the nature of being itself. Stay here a breath longer and watch what changes. The frantic reaching pauses. The bargaining softens. The arm that has been stretching into tomorrow lowers of itself. You are no longer trying to become powerful. You are recognizing power as the ground. From this ground, the next right thing rises. The way sap rises when the root is honored, without you pushing the branch. Bring now one pressure to this altar. A bill, a name, a symptom. Do not fight it. Let it appear within awareness as a cloud appears within sky. Notice, the sky is not threatened by the cloud. The aware I am is not at the mercy of its contents. Sense the difference between handling the picture as if it can grant or steal your life and letting it be met by what you are. Wait a moment. From this poise, the impulse to force recedes, and a clean directive often shows. Make this call. Release that expense. Rest now. Speak plainly. It is simple. It is unhurried. It is authoritative without noise. Open your eyes. Nothing mystical has been added. Something false has been subtracted. You have located the seat of power where it has always been. Return here again and again, not to escape the world, but to see the world rightly situated as effect. And now, from this inner seat, we will turn to the world's noisy versions of power, control, domination, pressure, and we will draw the line of distinction so you can walk out there without leaving what you are. Power is not force. The difference will become plain when cause meets appearance. Thank you. Now we must draw the line the world refuses to draw. The world points to noise and calls it power. It parades control as strength, voices raised, contracts tightened, bodies pressed, votes counted, levers pulled, and it says, there is power. It is not. It is fear in a costume. It is the terror of separation trying to manage effects because cause has been forgotten. I mean exactly that. Force is the confession that you believe power is outside and must be seized before it is taken from you. And because it is based in fear, it must be maintained by more fear, more pressure, more noise. Real power does not strain. Real power is authority. It is the law of harmony operating as presence. It does not contend because it does not feel threatened. Light does not argue with shadows. It stands, and the shadow has nowhere to stand. Gravity does not negotiate. It is. So with you when you abide as cause. There is a quiet in it that is not indifference. There is an immediacy in it that is not haste. There is a certainty in it that does not require an audience to applaud. It is the tone of I am. When you stand there, outcomes rearrange themselves without your wrestling them to the floor. Now hear how this alters the commerce of your days. You stop negotiating your worth, because what would cause bargain for? You stop begging, because what could cause lack? You stop manipulating outcomes, because what could cause fear? In the office, you speak plainly. You do the work that is yours. You decline the work that is not, and you release the results. You do not bend your spine to buy approval, nor harden your face to frighten it from others. In the home, you withdraw the bribe and the threat. You become the steady atmosphere in which clarity grows. Doors open that you were kicking. Some doors close, and you discover you are grateful. You did not get power. You stopped pretending you were without it. Let the binary be clean. Either you are fighting shadows, or you are standing as light. Either you are chasing effects with clever hands, or you are settled as cause and letting hands be servants of the inner law. Either you are trying to get approval, or you are expressing the approval of being, which shows up as good work, straight speech, and the absence of apology for existing. Either you are harvesting from a field you do not believe you own, or you are the field, and the harvest comes in season. But how, you say, does this become practical without me slipping back into trying to get? We do as we have been doing. We begin within. We refuse to move from fear's timetable. We let the awareness I am settle the atmosphere first, and from that silence, we take the step that presents itself. One step, clean, sufficient for the hour. Sometimes that step looks like a firm no. Sometimes it looks like an offer made without flattery. Sometimes it looks like walking away from a table that requires you to sell your piece for pennies. You will know because the act will carry the feel of ease in motion, not strain in disguise. That is demonstration beginning, not magic, not manipulation. Cause meeting appearance and reorganizing it. Hold a sentence for the year, if you would be free of the counterfeit. Power is not force. I am the quiet authority of cause. Put it where your eyes must meet it. And when the old habit reaches to push, to press, to plead, pause, return, stand. Then act. And you will see, without fanfare, that what you were chasing begins to appear as fruit on a tree you did not know was already yours. Thank you. Now we must name the mechanism plainly, or your practice will stall, and you will think the truth has failed you. Demonstration is not the reward for correct words. It is not the prize given to the best affirmation. Demonstration is the fruitage of a changed concept of self. I mean exactly that. When the sense of I shifts from effect to cause, from I am a person trying to get, to I am the life by which things become, the outer must answer to the inner. The orange appears because the root is sound. The check arrives because wealth is recognized as identity. The body eases because life is known to be the one embodying. Until that inner identification changes, words are leaves in the wind. Pretty, perhaps, but not sap. This is why the ancient counsel stands. Die daily. Not morbidly, practically. Each day the world offers you an identity. Sick, aging, lacking, dependent, inferior, superior. And each day you consent, or you refuse. You receive a symptom. The world says, you are a sick one. Refuse the title. You see a number. The world says, you are a poor one. Refuse the title. A calendar date arrives. The world says, "You are a declining one." Refuse the title. This refusal is not denial of appearances. It is denial of identification with them. That concept must die. Be therefore transformed by the renewing of your mind, your sense of I. Let yesterday's self-picture go to its quiet funeral, and do not send flowers. Now, non-attachment becomes your quiet strength. Enjoy good as it appears, but do not cling. Be willing to see it come, and be willing to see it go. For your good is not in the thing, it is in your being. If you cling, you have confessed a fear of losing your source, and fear will breed management, and management will breed force. Hold the job, the house, the praise, the symptomless week, as you would hold a bird, open-handed, grateful, unafraid. Then, if it remains, it blesses. If it flies, it testifies that your supply is alive and not trapped in a single form. What then, when appearances contradict the truth we have declared? Do not battle the picture as if it were a power. That is to grant it law, and then wrestle with your own grant. Return to cause awareness. Close your eyes for a moment and stand again in I am. Let the picture appear within that awareness the way a cloud appears within sky. Do nothing anxious. Let the new concept, cause as your identity, do the forming. Often, with that inner shift, the next clean act shows itself. Call here, rest now, speak there, release that. And the picture, having lost the glue of fear, reforms without your strain. This is demonstration, appearance answering to consciousness. We will anchor this with a regimen worthy of the seriousness of your freedom. Simple. Daily. Inward. Morning. Before the world names you, sit 5 minutes and let I am be the only fact. Not words. Awareness. Noon. Interrupt the hurry with a 60-second return to cause. Refuse the labels being sold in the marketplace of your day. Evening. Review without scolding. Where did I accept effect as identity, and where did I stand as cause? Write one sentence, clean, exact. Place it on the mirror and in the purse, and live with it for a year. We will set that sentence next. Let this be clear. Power demonstrates as your life when the old self-concept dissolves and the consciousness of cause becomes natural. Thank you. Now the sentence. Here is your anchor for the year. One sentence. And I do not know how you could spend less than a year on it without losing its life. I cannot get power. I must be it. Write it out exactly. I cannot get power. I must be it. This is not a slogan. This is not a charm to pull at when the wind rises. This is a mirror. This is a plumb line dropped through your day to keep you from tilting back into effect. Copy it in your own hand. Put it on the bathroom mirror so your first and last look meet it. Put a copy in the purse or wallet next to the bills, next to the cards that tempt you to believe identity is printed in plastic. Slide a copy into the desk drawer where your hand reaches without thought. If you must, set it on the lock screen of your phone so that the world's messages must pass by it before they can shout their labels at you. How do you work with it? Not by reciting until the tongue is tired, by returning until the sense of I is clean. 3 parts, each hour if need be. First, inward pause. Close your eyes for a breath and let all descriptions drop until only I am remains. Let the sentence be heard inside that silence. I cannot get power. I must be it. Feel the shift from seeker to source. Second, outward activity. From that poise, do the next right thing without strain. Make the call, write the line, lift the bag, speak the no. Let activity be the branch of the root you have just honored. Third, release. Do not stand over the seed you just planted muttering spells. Let results come and let them go without worship. Fruit will appear in season. It does not ripen faster because you stare at it. Now I must warn you, because this is where the old habit sneaks back in with a spiritual mask. The moment you use I am to get, you have confessed the old lie again. You have moved power outside, into the hoped-for outcome, and made identity a lever to pull it closer. Do you not see? If you say, I will abide as I am so that the check arrives, so that the symptom leaves, so that the door opens, you have already left I am. The practice is not to harness cause. It is to be cause. Outcomes are effects. They must follow. But if you watch them to decide whether you are cause, you are back to worshiping fruit. Give this a year. One sentence, 1 year, one continuous remembrance. Refuse drama about speed. Refuse despair about slowness. Each return is a death of an old concept and the birth of your natural state. And now the choice, and it is as clean as the difference between light and shadow. Remain in effect seeking power, bargaining with appearances and living on their nervy mercy, or accept your true place as the cause from which power expresses. Quiet, steady, unafraid. The decision lies with you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.